I have some good news for everybody. The Senate passed criminal justice reform. Now, it doesn't go nearly as far as you and I would like it to go, but let's just say I had zero expectation that we would get criminal justice reform under a Trump administration, and we're getting it. And that's wild, because Donald Trump ran as I'm Mr. Law and Order. Law and Order. Now, usually what that is a dog whistle to say, yeah, anything our military does is right by definition. Anything our police departments do is right by definition. And we're going to be tough on crime, which means just let them do whatever the fuck they want. If they want to ignore the Constitution and civil liberties, and they want to, do stop and frisk, and they want to, aggressively crack down on certain communities and not on other communities. Hey, man, you got to be tough on crime, and you got to be on the side of the cops because they're the guys with the uniforms, so they're the ones who are right. That's usually what law and order means, and it's funny because, of course, when you look at a guy like Trump, repeatedly violated international law. I mean, for Iran, the UN's highest court said to the U.S., hey, listen, you're blockading humanitarian goods going into Iran right now. You're not allowed to do that. And so what was the U.S.'s response? The law and order president said, okay, now we're pulling out of the highest UN court. We're going to scold you, and we're going to continue to blockade the humanitarian goods from getting into Iran. But that's me trying to explain to you guys, he doesn't actually care about law and order. It's more of a rhetorical trick. And the real argument there is whatever we do is right. And fucking suck it up and take it. Even though he signed a pro-torture executive order, as he says he's the law and order president. Got news for you. Torture is against U.S. law, torture is against international law, it's against the 8th Amendment of the Constitution, protection from cruel and unusual punishment. He doesn't care. But anyway, I'm off on a random side tangent now. Let me digress from that. We got criminal justice reform, which was not... I'm as floored as you are. So Vox explains here, the Senate on Tuesday passed a criminal justice reform bill in an 87-12 vote, overwhelmingly approving the biggest changes to the federal criminal justice system in decades. The bill, known as the First Step Act, will take modest steps to alter the federal criminal justice system and ease very punitive prison sentences at the federal level. It would affect only the federal system, which with about 181,000 imprisoned people holds a small but significant fraction of the U.S. jail and prison population of 2.1 million. Essentially, the bill will allow thousands of people to earn an earlier release from prison and could cut many more prison sentences in the future. Okay, so here are the details. The bill will make retroactive the reforms enacted by the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010, which reduced the disparity between crack cocaine and powder cocaine sentences at the federal level. This could affect nearly 2,600 federal inmates, according to the Marshall Project. The bill would take several steps to ease mandatory minimum sentences under federal law. It would expand the safety valve that judges can use to avoid handing down mandatory minimum sentences. It would ease a 3 strikes rule, so people with 3 or more convictions, including for drug offenses, automatically get 25 years instead of life, among other changes. It would restrict the current practice of stacking gun charges against drug offenders to add possibly decades to prison sentences. All these changes would lead to shorter prison sentences in the future. The bill would increase good time credits that inmates can earn. Inmates who avoid a disciplinary record can currently get credits of up to 47 days per year incarcerated. The bill increases the cap to 54, allowing well-behaved inmates to cut their prison sentences by an additional week for each year they're incarcerated. The change applies retroactively, which could allow some prisoners, as many as 4,000 according to supporters, to qualify for release the day the bill goes into effect. The bill would allow inmates to get earned time credits by participating in more vocational and rehabilitative programs. Those credits would allow them to be released early to halfway houses or home confinement. Not only could this mitigate prison overcrowding, but the hope is that the education programs will reduce the likelihood that an inmate will commit another crime once released and, as a result, reduce both crime and incarceration in the long term. There's research showing that education programs do reduce recidivism. So, this is a good bill. This is a really good bill. And again, it's aptly named because it really is just a first step. We should go much, much further on this front. You know, as you guys know, I would go as far as using the power of the pardon to release every single nonviolent drug offender that I can release as president. I would do that in a heartbeat. All these nonviolent offenses, I would reduce the sentences for. I like the idea of giving judges more leeway on mandatory minimums because there's so many occasions where judges have a case in front of them and they go, man, the mandatory minimum sentence for this thing is like 10, 15 years, whatever it may be. And that sentence does not fit the crime. The crime is not that bad, but I'm going to have to do a mandatory minimum of 10 years. So I like a lot of the changes that they made here. The one about crack cocaine, no-brainer. Complete no-brainer. The idea that they said it now retroactively lets those people go who are serving a disproportionately long sentence for crack cocaine. By the way, that was like the biggest piece of evidence that the drug war is racially discriminatory because think about it. Cocaine, powder cocaine, and crack cocaine are effectively the same drug. But for crack cocaine, you got way more time in prison. Why? Well, crack cocaine was overwhelmingly used in the black community. Powder cocaine was overwhelmingly used in the white community by higher income folks. So right down to class and race that's the exact reason why they crack down more on crack cocaine. So Obama reversed that, but now it's retroactive. So there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. And I'm floored that it passed 87-12 and that Trump is signing it. But that's a good thing, man. And listen, I think a lot of this has to do with, I hate to be so cynical about it, but with now there are big money donors on the right who also happen to be leftist on issues of criminal justice. So the Koch brothers is the perfect example. They are as right-wing as humanly possible on economic issues. But as soon as you get to issues of criminal justice reform and drugs, they're left. And so when you have big money donors who give a lot to the Republican Party and individual Republican politicians, and they know that they have leeway to do the right thing on one of these issues, many of them will do the right thing. And see, now you know like what they really think about these issues. 87-12. That means that there's really only 12 Republicans who are the idiot, hard-ass, let's be punitive as opposed to rehabilitating people kind of folks. And by the way, who led the charge against this bill? Tom Cotton, one of the worst Republicans in the country. This is a guy who, like, fawns over Guantanamo Bay and taking away people's constitutional rights to due process and habeas corpus. He's one of the biggest in favor of illegal, unconstitutional NSA spying. And he even to oppose this bill is lunacy. Because this is all common sense, man. But he's like, no, I'm a tough on crime guy, I like locking up people even if it's for nonviolent offenses. Well, fuck you, man. But he got absolutely destroyed, 87-12. This is a good step in the right direction. And now it's time to go further. And by the way, this does show you that when money lines up on the proper side of an issue, you do get positive change. And that's what happened. So you got all the left-wing donors there for criminal justice reform. Now, maybe half of the right-wing donors are for criminal justice reform. So all of the money is lining up on the side of the issue that happens to be correct. And that's when we get change on that issue. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's really crazy to me. It's like, even when we get our wins, a lot of it has to do with the money behind the scenes. By the way, you notice a similar thing over the years with the issue of gay rights. Now, ultimately, it was the Supreme Court that ruled that, okay, you have a constitutional right to be able to get gay married, but the perception gradually changed as more and more corporations were like, yeah, you know, we like gay people as customers too, so we don't want to be discriminatory. Then slowly but surely, the mindset and the money flipped on the issue. People don't remember this, but evangelical fundamentalist Christians used to be a big, not just voting bloc, but special interest with a lot of money. And then over time, the Jerry Falwells and the John Hagees and all the other fundamentalist Christians, they kind of waned in power and waned as a special interest group with a lot of money. And then all the corporations flipped to being pro-gay rights, and then that kind of opened the door to really having the conversation seriously. So it's a shame how much big money affects our politics, but when we get lucky and they end up being on the right side of an issue, let's take a win where we can get it. And this is definitely a bill to be celebrated.